hello to the folks.
So don't mention that thing.
Hello, everybody. You know what? Hey, Ox, I already got a request. Do me a favor and let Oxy speak more today. He was unusually quiet last screen. Right off the bat.
Well, see, this is what happens when you just simply don't have anything to say. So that's why you have to have this thing called opinion. Or
I have plenty of opinions. I'm just
really?
admittedly a little bit quiet when there's so many people in one place.
Oh, you're shy, I see. So, ladies and gentlemen, now we see Parxosym's a little bit, shy. Give it up for Parxosym, folks!
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, so, as like the last time, I might as well go on and start talking and all that stuff. So, greetings to everyone watching on, I guess everyone's streams and all that stuff. So, remember, today we're just talking about chapter 2, and I probably should have started with people around. So first of all, I'm joined with the smallest person. That would be the maybe not the smallest. God damn it, this joke will never die. Anyway, Parxosym.
What's up, people? It's Desire.
There's that. Then there's Exigeous.
Good afternoon, morning, whatever time in the world it is for you guys. Hello.
Yes, Astro or down-to-earth astronomy.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Indeed, and the Obsidian Ant.
Hello there. Hi all.
So, yeah. Also, I suppose me too, but no, hey, who the fuck cares about a cunt like me? Anyway, moving on then.
We know who you are.
So, as indeed, developers decided to release some interesting notes, I suppose, about Chapter 2 that is coming June 28th. So, yeah, this year, by the way. Yes, it's this year, not next year, so at least there's that. But in any case, we're going to go over a couple of details and other things like those. I don't know, we could actually start with something that is quite unrelated. On other news, developers did mention that they won't be pushing the focused feedback on mining this month. Alright. The side note news is done.
Side note. I kind of wonder if that means we're also going to get delayed exploration feedback as well.
Yeah, because
I was wondering the same.
I was due with the 18th, wasn't it, originally?
I don't think we're going to get delayed on the other ones. I just think there's been some hiccup with mining, so meaning that part of it has been delayed. So I would assume that they're still going to do the exploration on time. I hope. Then maybe they'll do mining later on.
Yeah, they have
Hopefully, but then
I really hope so.
What could be so complicated about mining though that necessitates a delay? That's what I want to know.
New features that apparently,
They probably just found some kind of loophole in the. They've set up a lot of new rules regarding the deep core mining thing. They probably found some kind of loophole in it where people could abuse it a lot, I would guess, and then they don't want to go public with a system that they know is faulty. That's my guess of it.
You think they could be redesigning it all then?
So
maybe not completely.
So there we go,
slightly,
ladies and gentlemen. Astro just revealed that there's exploits going on, or quote-unquote exploits going on with mining. So now if they've nerfed it, right? That's how it happens, right?
Yeah. Nerf before release. Wow, that's a new one.
That is a new one.
Oh my god.
I mean, fine. Developers did actually release cosmetics before they released cosmetics for Chieftain before the Chieftain was actually playable. Sure, it was only 2 hours, but still, I find it disgusting.
Yeah, that was kind of funny though too. I have to admit.
Talking about the Chieftain though, Challenger.
Oh, right. So let's get into the news. Supposedly, yes. So
the fact that the Alliance apparently just reproducing British tanks.
Right, so let's see.
Snakes and birds.
Yeah, at least on my screen I'll put a picture of the new ship and whatnot else, so I don't know if the rest of you actually have it. If not, then you can head down to Elite Dangerous's, that was forums.
Is it in that
forum?
And
it's in the forum post for the roadmap, and it's basically just there as soon as you, expand it.
Do the same here, I guess.
There we go.
Yeah.
Content, thingamajig, Alliance, there we go. Those of you that perhaps want to see. So
I
anyways,
have that picture somewhere.
Would one of you guys post it in Discord? I can't find. Oh, there it is. There it is. Sorry.
It must be here.
So I did notice that someone said on the text for the announcement trailer that Frontier said there's new ships, as in the plural.
Yes,
there you go.
See, that's
Well,
interesting because
Plural is only 2, though, right? So, like, crate.
Plural's never one.
It can be 2, yes.
Yeah, so I'm thinking the Challenger and crate that qualifies as quote-unquote ships.
yeah, of course.
But that just seems like a very FDev thing to do to me.
No, okay. Well, honestly, I was rather surprised to see 2 ships. I mean, sure, fine. It's quite a long time and whatnot else. And one thing that I am kind of, I guess, happy in a way is the developers actually are releasing ships on somewhat regular basis. And, you know, I got more material for my review series and other things. But that aside, really, I don't know. The question also comes up as soon as you start, you know, putting new things out. Are you really just not spamming the game? And, well, okay, arguably, well, actually not arguably, factually, there are issues already with the current lineup of the ships, and there are quite a huge, in fact, gaps in the lineup and price ranges and other things. So perhaps those that have at least looked up these things probably noticed a huge price gap between Asper Explorer and the cheapest next ship was the dropship. Yeah, right. And the difference is more than 200% in price. And then, of course, there's the huge rank locked ship gap that basically is just polluted by those things. So, yay, and hopefully, realistically speaking, the Challenger will be it will be more expensive than Chieftain. So yeah, it's just a bigger, soakier thing, and that's about it. That's all the details we get.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're pulling a Federation and they're just using the same frame for multiple ships. So where the Chieftain is kind of like the Faz, I'm fairly certain the Challenger is going to be like the gunship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully better handling though. I hate the way the gunship turns. Thing's a pig.
Again, they are slapping more armor on it, so I mean I wouldn't expect it to be as maneuverable as the Chieftain.
No, nowhere near. I'm thinking it's going to take a pretty decent hit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my speculation, though.
Do you guys think Frontier have moved away from rank locking ships? Do you think that's something they've changed their mind over? The last few ships they've had.
Okay, so hopefully my videos have proved a couple of things. I bitched about that tremendously, and maybe they got the message, maybe not. Maybe it was just the community saying that, or perhaps they didn't even listen to me or anyone else who talked about this stuff when I talked about it myself and what else. They decided, well, it's still pretty bad and what else. But I'd like to think, I always like to think that I had some hand in it. So.
Well, the interesting thing with the newer ships is all the recent ones have been Alliance ships, isn't there? And there's still no Alliance ranks, so.
I certainly don't see them adding Alliance rank, right? I think everybody would absolutely flip out if they did that.
It would be a horrible thing to do.
Here's a new ship, now go grind your ass off for it, right? I
mean, they made tech brokers, right? So, yeah, it's basically, again, rank grinding aside from the ranking up part.
Well,
but even so, yeah, indeed.
Lock in the crate if the crate's there behind a blueprint unlock.
No.
Yeah, see, okay, Ant actually talked about this thing. He mentioned the whole idea of blueprints will be necessary for unlocking a perhaps crate, and I'm like, oh fuck, that's an actual thing that might happen. Fuck!
There is a vessel blueprint, isn't there? There's the module one, the weapon one, and there's a vessel one as well.
Wasn't there?
Most of the people, but the most people I've talked about are saying that it's assuming that that's gonna be fighters.
I hope so. I do hope that's what it is.
Yeah, that would be a fair way to do it.
I don't even want to see those. But okay, you know.
I would rather.
Well,
Okay,
I'd
we
prefer
have
fighters than ships.
Agreed.
we have vessel
Yeah.
blueprints.
So do
We
Fighters-
I.
have the vessel blueprints, so they're gonna be here at some point.
Yeah.
But I hope it's gonna be fighters and not ships.
Fighters are just fun anyway.
I mean, that would make some
I
sense
kind of hope
because
it's
it's such a minor add. You know, I almost think of fighters as a hard point anyway. So, you know, I think that would be. I mean, I hope they don't do it, but I could see them if they're going to add some sort of grind to it. That would be the way they do it. What I'm more curious about is I saw in the thing they're talking about there's basically large class Guardian weapons. So those of us that have done all the grind to unlock all the existing Guardian weapons, are we just going to get the new large class ones, or are we going to have to re-grind for
Fuck
those
no.
again? I'm bet you're right, to be honest.
Yeah,
I mean, what do you expect, mate?
I mean-
it's gonna be a grind.
You know,
do you really think that they're gonna make a separate blueprint? I mean, for the larger versions?
I mean,
I'm thinking it probably will be.
I'm worried that it's going to be. Let's put it that way, right? And after doing that damn puzzle 56 times, I don't feel like doing it again, to be honest. You know, maybe they'd give
The
us
other possibility-
something new to do. Sorry, yeah.
No. I'll cut you off there, Kevin. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Am.
No, go and finish the thought.
Well, no, that was pretty much it.
There
That
we
was-
go. Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, no,
I'll
that was-
take that. Fuck you guys.
I was pretty much done.
Well, I was kind of going to divert off to a slightly different subject.
Go for it.
Still
Absolutely, go for
related.
it.
Well, talking about the introduction of new modules, I wonder whether or not the Guardian unlocks at some point may also be engineerable.
Okay, so
no,
they
no,
did
no.
actually make the whole. Well, what is it? Power plant, or was it?
The power plant was
FSD? No, I think it was
the
power
power
plant.
plant.
Yeah, that they
the
allowed
power
to
plant could be
engineer, and
modded.
they stopped it.
Yeah.
At this point they're looking at it. Nah.
I don't think we're
Nah.
gonna get. I don't think we're gonna get engineerable Guardian modules, and if we are, it's gonna be special blueprints for those specific modules. Because take the Guardian power plant, which is not as good as a engineered one, but it's up there.
it's close,
And
yeah.
I kind of like that approach. I kind of like that approach that you can get something that's better than the standard modules if you unlock them, but it's never going to be as good as if you actually spend the time and fully engineer a power plant. It kind of gives you an easy way to just fit a ship quickly without having to spend weeks engineering it and running around
Alternative way
gathering
of doing
material.
things then, yeah.
So that's why I don't think we're going to see engineering blueprints for Guardian. And if we are, it might just be the special effects, like the add-on effects that we'll be going to be able to add. That alone would make them very, very interesting. There's a lot of interesting effects. But yeah, I mean, imagine this: you take the railguns and you add super penetrator to a Guardian railgun.
It'd be big power creep as well, wouldn't it, if it did go that way?
It would.
I mean, it's
Definitely.
already a bit of a treadmill there, but
Yeah. Well, it seems to me that as what you're like, basically what you're getting at down to is that, you know, the Guardian modules are great, I think, for casual players in that you unlock them once and now you can effectively buy kind of grade 4 engineered modules without having to continually grind out resources, unlock engineers. So I actually think they do have a good purpose, and I think it would hurt them if they did. I shouldn't say it wouldn't hurt to make them engineerable, but I don't kind of see that happening, because if they made them engineerable better than a regular power plant, then of course everybody that's done all the engineering to that point is going to scream, right? Because now we're going to have to go redo our power plants, and our power plants or any of these modules is going to get that much better. The weapons maybe, but I don't see the core modules being engineerable. At least I hope not.
No.
what do you think
I-
on Tech Brokers, Yamiks?
Yeah. So, well, okay. Perhaps they learned from the power play modules that it's a pretty bad idea to allow those to be engineered as well. Because I mean, holy fucking Christ, you're gonna get 10,000. Oh wait, no, 13,000 shields. 13 motherfucking thousand shields on a cutter with
Yeah.
prismatics. So have fun with that. But when it comes down to technology brokers, instead of actually creating what they created for those AX weapons, that is another community goal, they are making us unlock them through our personal narrative. But yeah, Oh god, it's a laughable thing. Anyways, but regardless, okay, they are putting in more stuff, and the only question that you rose, whatever, was basically, will we need to re-unlock these things? And yeah, I knowing how things work with this game, I have suspicions that it will be the case. That's unfortunate, but well, there you go. In any case, well, when it comes down to the whole, let's see, what was it? The technology brokers will allow commanders to unlock large versions of existing Guardian tech weapons. Now, you know what I would have liked to see actually instead of that? Just a simple, small weapon version of it, of all that stuff being put in place, so smaller ships, and also perhaps the slots that you can use on bigger ships wouldn't be wasted. And you know, I would have liked to try and kill a fucking, I don't know, Cyclops in my little X-wing wannabe, or banana X-wing wannabe. Yeah, that'd be my courier, right? And why not? But no, we're just gonna do the power creep approach. We're just gonna put in bigger, badder things that can destroy things faster. Yay!
Do you think power creep though actually works in the player retention sense? From Frontier's point of view rather than a player point of view, I mean.
I don't know. From Frontier, again, the way I see these weapons being put in the game, be that a flechette launcher, enzyme missile, or things like those. Flechette launcher actually is a pretty good example on trying to do balance without actually balancing things. Essentially, they know that shields are broken as fuck and they need to be nerfed quite heavily. Instead, we're just gonna put in weapons that would, you know, bypass shields, or yeah, exactly. And I find that method of going around the issue of really cumbersome, annoying, and just downright stupid.
Well,
I mean, in children cartoons, oftentimes you see kids, you know, being taught to deal with the problem head on, rather than, you know, trying to solve it in other cheaper means. Right? Am I missing something?
No, not at all.
No.
Quick band-aid fix.
Yeah.
Allows them to move on. Yeah.
So
I think that's sometimes why people question the amount of resources Frontier have got available to them. It kind of leaves you thinking that, doesn't it? Yeah.
It does, absolutely.
I mean, okay, fine. We understand that, you know, they are busy making the fucking Jurassic puke and whatnot else, but fucking hell. At least, the thing is, as PlanetSide 2, and yes, I'm gonna beat that motherfucking horse all the time, but as PlanetSide 2 has shown, you know, when it comes down to low budget development, then balancing a game is probably the easiest thing you can do, you know, with relative, just only time consumed, because all you need to do is just have at least a little bit knowledge in how to make spreadsheets, and off you go making balance passes and things like those. But no, we're just gonna create new models. Okay, fine. I like the fucking modules, how they look and things like those. I really do enjoy a new look on them, not the default, you know, railgun that is either the Imperial Hammer or the default railgun itself. I like a different module. It shows that you give a fuck. It shows that, you know, you cared about making that thing. So, at least in that regard, the art team is pulling their weight. What, you know, the designer team is doing, well, that's a whole different thing, at least in my eyes, of course. But
all the art stuff within Elite's pretty good, though, isn't it? From the planets.
Not all of it. There are tremendous amounts of shitty designs. I mean, look at many of the weapons. Torpedoes would be a good example as to really poor design choice.
They're too slow to even be useful.
No. I'm not talking about the way it is being used. I'm talking about the way it looks. It's horrible. It looks like a piece of shit. So yeah.
I guess the problem I've always had with the art assets is the oversized cockpits on the ships.
That too.
My God, yeah, they're gigantic.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make fucking sense.
Have you seen the images of the crate they showed at FX?
Images
I
of
think I
crate.
did, but-
Yeah.
You mean the spinning thingamajig?
Yeah, the little spinny ship. I think
Well, you
that's
can.
what-
Yeah, I mean,
That
yeah,
one
yeah,
looks very, very different to what they've shown so far in terms of scale. It's one of the. I think it's a medium-sized ship, and it's one of the few medium.
It's gonna be medium-sized ship.
Yeah,
I expected
it's actually
that
got
much.
oversized, cockpit on it. It doesn't look oversized at all.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe they actually come to senses, or perhaps DeLacy realized that, oh, you know, we could actually make some good design choices for once. I mean, fucking hell, have you seen most of the designs on DeLacy's? Jesus fucking Christ. But yeah, there's that. Inserting a little bit of
Yeah,
more.
there
Yeah,
is.
I got the images on my screen at least.
Yeah, I got mine on.
I'm going to bring it up as well.
So-
So
Why do
yeah,
you-
it's
Now that we're on the crate, why do you guys think that? I mean, they put this small post up saying, "Oh, we're gonna add this," and then they mentioned the Challenger, the upscale version of the Chieftain. But in the video, I think everybody agrees that they showed the
that
ass
was
of
a
the
that
crate.
was great. That was
That
great.
was-
Yeah, that
definitely.
was
It definitely
crate.
looks like a crate because it's. I mean, it sure as hell is not the end
Right. Right.
of a Challenger. That's for sure. Unless they,
No.
I haven't compared to every single ship in the
Unless
game,
you
but
got
unless they
different
choose some other random ship and just put that in there, but it wouldn't be like Frontier doing that.
Well, okay. So the reason why they showed crate instead of actually Challenger, honestly, I don't know. They announced crate. Well, if they actually announced in Frontier Expo Chieftain and Challenger at the same time, you know, people would think, you're just reskinning something and adding, you know, just a couple of things, you know, just basically a lazy model design. So from that PR perspective, it's smart of them to show two different things rather than, you know, one thing and one reskinned thing or one slightly altered thing. So I guess that's why.
I think it generates
And-
a bit of hype as well, doesn't it? Keep everyone
It
guessing.
certainly does.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I was suspecting it to be purely a hype thing.
But why they did announce a Challenger right off the gate, I don't know. I would have found that actually as a pretty fucking awesome little, you know, announcement. That instead of, you know, getting that new ship called Crate, you're gonna get a different one. You know,
I
and
think
then
why
you
they're
think to
showing their
yourself,
hands now and not just saying,
Yeah,
when you get the patch
exactly.
note a day before, they say, oh, by the way, we added a new ship as well, and then everybody would lose their mind.
I would be ecstatic. It would be one good surprise.
Yeah.
Oh well, lost opportunity. All I can say. I mean, I'm still happy that they're making, you know, two ships in this update rather than one. But
Yeah, of course. I mean, more,
it just
more
means
is
that they
better.
will be dribbling out the content of 2.1 slowly, and there we go. I guess. Yeah.
Well,
We'll
they were
see.
always intended to be small updates, so weren't they?
Yeah.
3.1
Yeah.
4.2.
I
Right.
was kind of expecting a little bit more in the release notes and stuff like that.
Do,
Yeah.
do you
Oh,
think
but
they're
this is,
perhaps
remember,
one
this
in
is not a
time?
patch note. Remember that this is not a patch note. This is
Yeah.
teaser.
Just an announcement. yeah.
Just an
Yeah.
announcement. That's about it.
And they
Yeah,
did- they saw that the bit on there where it said redacted, didn't they? Do
yeah.
you think
I'm
that's
wondering what
correct,
that
or do you think
means.
that's-
Yeah.
The
that's-
usual guff, really. It's again, there's a mystery that, you know, maybe one commander will solve, so everyone moves with the story. Yay, proper story making. I am so excited to learn a thing from YouTube again. Yay. Hey. Oh wait, no. Usually it's Twitch. Usually it's Malik. Those of you that watch Twitch
Sure.
streams, it's usually Malik that does the thing. So a little shout out to him as well. So there's that. But yeah. Anyways,
Oh, shit.
since Parxosym, you know, didn't talk too much, go with the next topic. Don't be shy. Come
Well,
on.
no, I was just pulling up Discord so I could actually see it.
Otherwise,
I really need another monitor.
Otherwise, I have a good one. I have a good one.
Well, what do you got?
Wing mining missions. Hooray!
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck
ooh.
me.
No
Exciting.
mining.
Oh,
Now,
fuck
okay,
me.
they did say they are introducing more wing missions with
That's
quarter
it.
2.
So yeah.
Now, but wing mining, really?
Yes.
We are introducing wing mining missions for you and your fellow commanders to take on.
Okay, so how do you guys think that's going to work? How do you envision that?
Oh,
I'm guessing it's going to be like cargo missions
I don't
where
know.
your wing has
it's
to
just the
mine
same as
2,000 tons of ore, and you just all do it together.
Yeah.
The format should be pretty straightforward.
I mean, I would imagine it's going to be very simple in that sense.
It's
it's
basically
the
going to be like
same old normal mission, just expanded for 4
Yeah.
players. That's it.
Yeah. It's going to be like the source and return missions.
delivering 5,000 tons of whatever or something like that. That's what you
Yeah,
think?
go mine 5,000 tons of oxygen.
Yeah, exactly.
And come back with that. Okay.
That's what I would
do that
think.
another way. But I actually think it's okay because mining is really not very profitable, and this is going to give it it's not going to be enough, I think, but it's going to give it a small buff in terms of potential how much money you could make out of it. Because I think most people who like mining, they don't mind spending 3-4 hours in the belt just eating away at asteroids. So unless they're going to put some insane time constraint on it, then I think a single player could easily just complete that mission in a matter of hours.
I would agree
hope
with
so,
that.
at least. And that's one of the problems I've always had with mining missions, because when I from time to time decide I want to go out and do some mining, and if you want to do missions, you're often going to end up spending a lot of time flying back to the station, because now you have what you needed for your mission, and it will only take half an hour, and that's okay for a solo mission. But if you want to have a longer mining session, then I think it's a good idea to then you could pick up a wing mission and then just complete that.
You just wait till you find one that's 1,000 tons of painite.
Yeah, that's going to take a while.
Yeah, and you know
a
it'll
while,
come.
you'll be there for a month.
I think it's kind of interesting they're introducing wing mining missions already, whereas the whole mining update's not due till chapter 4.
Yeah.
Well, and to
Agreed.
me, I'm guessing it's a
They're gearing
stopgap.
up. They're gearing up.
Well, it's a stopgap
Well, they did.
to do
Frontier
something
did
for
talk
it,
about that.
right?
Well, Frontier talked about mining missions, or not necessarily mining missions, but mining update as being like the Wild West. Like, I can't remember
Okay,
exactly.
that's an interesting
Do you
way
remember?
of
Do you remember?
explaining it.
Do you remember Frontier talking about that at the time?
No, actually, no.
Wild
Maybe
West?
jog my memory if you can.
Wild
Yeah.
West, or like a Frontier, yeah, where you had to go out in the, the American Wild West, and they used to
Yeah,
go out
yeah,
and
yeah,
get
yeah.
the gold or whatever, and it's always a risk because you didn't know what was in the environment.
Ah,
So
yeah,
you-
I see. I see.
You've got the danger of the environment, but also the danger of other people. So the
Honestly,
idea,
it kind of reminds me of Star Citizen's land plotting thing, which, god damn it, but I can't just shake that fucking idea now. I can't listen to anything else. Damn it. But no, I think I remember some of it.
basically that it's not just going to be a case that you go out there and peacefully mine, but it's going to be there's going to be a risk to it, and risk versus reward. At least that's the idea.
This
Yeah.
game and that phrase. No.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I think
last
something
week.
along the lines like some material that would only be available in hazards or in resource extraction sites, where you would have to somehow deal with the pirates in the area.
Well, somebody on my stream
Right.
just posted, what if you had like a wing mining mission where one guy was the miner and one guy was like a fighter escort, and had to fight, like you're just
That's
saying,
how
have to
wing
fight
missions
off.
will be working.
Right.
Yeah.
But I could see that being fun if you're the fighter escort, kind of like Down to Earth was saying, if you've got enough people that you're defending against, or the flip side might be, if you're not the miner, if you're the fighter escort and you're just sitting there doing nothing, it could get really boring, obviously.
Yeah. But even if because the way mining works at the moment, you can actually benefit the miners a lot if you just use one of your small hard points for on a mining laser, and you fit the smallest prospect Olympic controller, because the amount of fragments that is spawned per rock is proportional to the number of players.
Right.
So let's say I go up to a rock and start mining, and that rock has, let's say, 40 fragments allocated. If we're 2 people or 4 people, we would then get twice or 4 times as many fragments out of that rock. So in that way, the escort ship can still be very valuable.
Yeah. I could see that working.
The escort
I
ship,
still find it very interesting that mining works that way to begin with.
yes, it seems odd. I would have to.
I kind of think that's where they're going with it in the chapter 4 update. I mean, we've got no details of it, so it's unfortunately all theory crafting. But I have a feeling that they'll be connecting exploration and mining together. So you'll be finding these resource-rich areas with the newly introduced exploration tools.
So like non-static extraction sites, kind of like signal sources.
That will possibly deplete, yeah.
I like that idea actually. So you actually,
Would
instead
be
of
nice.
just you have to actually go out and prospect a bit.
Yeah.
I really like, and that would tie in with the Wild West kind of theme, that you actually can just go and eat away at a rock, but it's probably not going to be very profitable. You need to spend some time actually prospecting first and finding the good spots.
Well, I was actually looking through the original design notes for mining.
Oh God,
back
I
in
think I did too.
2013. Yeah, and they were talking about being able to put a claim on resource nodes that you can find. It didn't actually go into the mechanics of it, but basically you'd be able to put a claim on there. And I'm wondering if perhaps they will go that sort of way, and if they do, a carrier would perhaps be a good way to do that.
And Obsidian, you're saying if you
that
put a
would make
claim on
sense.
it, would it be kind of like what we were talking last week, passive income, or just something only you can mine, or do you know what they were getting at?
Oh,
They didn't go into too much details
Yeah.
back on the 2013 notes, but basically I think it would be a resource node. The idea was that you'd be able to find these resource nodes that were fairly rich. You could put a claim on it, but other people could still come and basically mine there or take it. So not passive income, you'd still have to mine it for yourself.
Sure.
Yeah, you'd still have to
But
be
what
there.
would
But
be
then
the-
that would be... You'd have to defend it, though, too, wouldn't you?
Yes.
You know, while you're there.
That's what I'm thinking they're getting at with this whole Wild West idea.
So imagine if a site like that, let's say that would take a week or 2 for a dedicated group of miners to complete. You could then potentially move a fleet carrier into that area. So you could like move your ship there. Problem is, would you be able to sell materials on the fleet carrier? You probably wouldn't.
Or at least stock them up there, if not
Yeah.
sell them.
But cargo storage on ships, or not on ships, but on stations or dockable objects? Not sure.
But that's kind of really going out there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But that's for mining and exploration. I wouldn't be surprised to see the ability to use the exploration tool
overlapping.
to find the resource. Yeah, it's overlapping.
I would actually like that.
I'm just intrigued by the idea of PvP mining.
Good luck having those people actually going, open.
I was just about to
Just
say,
saying.
you really think they're
Oh,
gonna do that?
yeah.
Good
I
luck
know,
with that.
but-
Good luck with that, you naive fool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that it would actually happen. I'm just sitting here like, it could be a thing.
Oh boy, yeah. This will turn into basically that whole power play stuff as well now. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Someone in my chat's just asking about the ability to put mining drones or mining installations down on planets as a form of passive income,
Yeah,
or
we
just
kinda,
to leave mining.
We touched on that last week
yeah,
as well.
yeah. Kind of
Yeah.
like Eve does, right?
Like, it would be nice, honestly. That's one of my... That's kind of... It's high on my list of things that I would like to see. You know, deployable mining rigs that are out and about. You can get some kind of passive income from them, but other players would be able to hack them, destroy them, etc., etc. So it's not without its drawbacks and needing attention.
You know, could other players hack it and steal from it? Right? Like, would
Exactly,
it sit there
yeah.
and passively mine, and let's say it's got, I'm going to make it up, 100 tons of something, processed and refined and ready to go, and you would just come back and pick that up. But if somebody else shows up and you're not there defending it or wherever, they can grab it. That would be kind of interesting, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit like the same mechanics you have with the mega ships at the moment, where you have to scan it and hack it and recon it.
Right.
Whatnot.
Mining, oh boy. Really, there are so many ways of making it
Mining could be
potentially
couldn't
good.
it? With the size of the galaxy, mining could be good.
Yeah, I suppose. Now, when it comes down to at least my preference as to how gameplays are and whatnot else, okay, mining as it is right now, you know, it's not quite as bad as some other parts of the game, I suppose. But then again, it's not saying too much and all that stuff. But again, I said this in the past. If I was able to make again 100 mil an hour by mining, aka having things that I mined properly pay up, not just dribble some little bits and pieces of credits onto me, but still. Okay, I guess Exigeous, yeah, you can go. I was about to launch on the fucking Wing Mission rant, so I'll do that afterwards. Go.
I mean, I'll let you. My question was just, when we talked about balance and all the different things, I don't even know what is kind of the most, like people talk about, things being a viable career path and things like that, and I don't even, is mining really even viable as a career? I mean, what's the most you can make per hour mining? I mean, can you make 5 million an hour mining? I don't think you can you?
No.
Right?
No, first of all, you need
I don't do it. So, exactly.
Just like with trading.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Second of all, you need knowledge as to how to do it. Unlike trading, you need knowledge. Also, protection, because, well, guess what? Even when you think you're alone, RNGs will just decide, well, look, that player's doing something interesting. How about I go and fuck him up and spawn, a fucking elite Corvette, a full elite Anaconda, because they don't spawn Corvettes. So that's just awesome, right?
You can make, if you're dedicated to it, you can make, I would say 6, 7, maybe 8 millions
an hour.
In an hour.
I need to again. We need to do sometimes.
You have to be so super lucky. I was in a pristine metallic looking for Paynite once to unlock Celine Jean.
Yeah.
I was in the right area. I spent 8 hours just trying to get 10 tons of Paynite.
I was going to say, you only need 10 tons for it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, wow. I only had 1 ton. But then here's the part that really pisses me off. I had 2 friends drop in to help me out with it. And between the 2 of them, they found like 40 tons inside of 20 minutes. In the same instance as me. I was like, this is horse crap.
Yeah.
No. Parxosym, this is simulator that we're playing. This is not a real game or anything. This is not supposed to have balance. This is a simulator. It simulates how fucked up your life is. So you play, essentially, another job. Is that where we're at?
I was so mad.
Again.
Well, yeah, I was so mad.
That's just me.
Yeah, so mining as a reliable source of income, I've never been able to pull it off. Never.
And the funny thing is, okay, trading should be the most reliable one, but mining should be the second most reliable. Then exploration, and the last one should be, combat. But it's not. Because, we just don't want to really bother to
I'd maybe personally put combat higher than that, given that, combat's obviously, as we discussed last week, got the most risk.
Combat zones, yes, but bounty hunting, again, in real life, even when you're a dog, the bounty hunter, right? You're not gonna, go and quickly find everyone with bounties. You need to go to a place, pick up, you get the point.
Right.
Bounties are, realistically speaking, at least as far as realism goes, I suppose, should be relatively rare. But then again, yeah, the issue is you can't put bounties too high, and you can't put bounties too low, although they are too low, really. Because if you put them too high, well, RNG just might spawn in something, or someone in a binder could get content skip opportunity. By earning a lot of money by just, poking that asshole who is about to die. Anyways, wing missions, or should someone else talk before I go into a typical rant?
Go for it, buddy.
Okay, so, well, in that case, right, so wing missions. Now, as I've said in the past and so on and so forth about wing missions, the way Frontier has developed wing missions has been really lazy and really annoying to me. You don't need to even ask them how they developed it, because it's already pretty clear. When you look at wing missions in your tabs and all that stuff, you see that rewards for a solo player, well, are shit, literally shit. When when you start actually either dividing the amount of work that you need to do, or at least multiplying the reward by 4, that is the maximum of people in one wing, then you get somewhat approximate, still to this day, slightly lower pay that you would get on a solo mission. And that's pretty much how you can easily tell that they designed these missions with only 4 people and only 4 people in mind for those missions to be even anything close to being comparable to normal missions. And that disgusts me, because you could have had potential with wing missions in the past before releasing them to actually create some sort of initiative for players to actually play with others, or maybe just have missions, those bigger missions being picked up for a solo player, and allow them to do the activity for a longer time. For example, I enjoy trading from time to time, and it's as I said in the past, it's somewhat relaxing to me. Okay, fine. Now, what I would like to do is, instead of actually going from station to station, just picking many different little missions, I just like to pick up one big mission and do it for maybe half an hour or hour even, delivering stuff from place to place. That would have been nice. But no, instead of that, you really are losing all the money by the effort you put in, by just mission being hard locked for 4 players, to be fair. Anything else is just waste of time, because we definitely don't want to waste your time now, do we? Fucking hell. So yeah, the wing missions again, I don't quite understand why didn't they code it that mission, well, the person that picked it up and invited his wing to help out with the mission wouldn't get a prompt rewarding either players by accordingly their contributed effort in the whole thing, in case the whole wing is just couriers or carriers or whatnot else, and none of them is working as a protector or whatnot else. Then whoever gets the most cargo in for the mission will get obviously according reward, right? Or second choice would be just reward everyone accordingly, just by splitting the reward in 4, rather than needing 4 people in a wing for it to be fair. That's the thing that baffles me. I don't get it.
You would rather have a...
Why can't you basically offer... why can't you offer a big reward that would be enticing for everyone? Solo players, 2 wing players or more, or what else. And just have the option to split it. Is that too fucking hard to design?
So basically you're looking for more in saying you're going to get this per player when you hand in the mission, rather than having... Well, that's exactly what you do right now, isn't it? Oh, when you want...
The bottom line is the current wing mission is the laziest way of coding it. That's what I'm getting at. So... yeah.
Okay, so if you want to balance it for fewer than 4 players, you would need to say instead of this mission giving let's say 5 million per player that hands it in, the mission should have a 20 million reward that is then split amongst the people who contribute to the mission.
Yeah. If it's a 2-man wing, then it's split between 3 players, of course. If it's 3-man, it's... Oh, there we go.
Good lord.
Hello.
There goes the first bork of the stream.
Hello.
Yes. Just to the guys watching, both me and Exigeous are dog sitting at the moment.
We are.
Which is why there might be some random dogs in the background.
So yeah.
Heckin' borked, mate.
Yeah. Again, when you split not the bounty, but a 20 million reward between 3 players, of course it won't exactly divide properly. But so what? Who cares if they lost 1 fucking credit from 20 million? Even from a fucking 10,000 credits, who cares about that 1 credit? So splitting, again, credit reward should be really simple thing. But it's not put in the game because technical reasons. Let's go with technical reasons, right? That's the disappointment of wing missions. I saw fucking tremendous potential in wing missions being actually something that would entice a cooperative gameplay. That would, perhaps even I'll give players a chance to communicate and form new friendships with each other. But no, at this point, you're just basically looking at other players as just not waste of space, or rather something that will help you not waste time or space.
Well, didn't they kind of go that way
deliver.
initially with the wing missions, especially the delivery ones, because they were quite high rewards, weren't they?
They were high rewards because they, again, didn't balance them according to their own standards, apparently, or something. So, yeah, they got the nerf bat, and
But part
that's where
of
we're
that was
at.
because people were doing it themselves and then just inviting other people in to get 100 million for nothing.
Yes, right. So, okay, I'll pose a question here. So, do you guys think that in this game, a wing mission, where you just, invite someone in, just when you are handing in the mission and giving that player that money is a bad thing or a good thing, or what do you think? Exigeous, let's go with you first. Let's go one by one.
I'm mixed on it, right? Like I think it's both great for a new player, right? I mean, like, and in my alt account, I've done that, winged up with a buddy and said, hey, I need here's a mission that pays 5 million for 300 tons of something. It's a wing mission. Will you go grab it all for me in your Anaconda, meet me at the station, turn it in, and bam, I get 5 million credits, right? And in the one hand, I think that's okay/good, in that if you have, look, in life, if you have big friends with powerful ships and lots of money, they probably would be able to help you do something like that, right? So I think from that perspective, it's potentially a good or an okay thing. On the flip side, I can also see the kind of, I literally just sat in a station, let a friend bring me a bunch of stuff. I didn't do anything but sit there, and I wound up with 5 million credits, right? So I'm a little bit mixed on it. I've seen people comment on, because I did a video on this, and I saw people comment on it and say, oh, well, I'm not about to do all the work to let a friend just make that 5 million. And I was like, well, I guess you think of your friends differently than I do, because I'm happy to help a friend who's new in the game earn 5 million credits really quickly. Right. So I kind of see both sides. I think my biggest problem, the biggest thing that I didn't like with wing missions, or I think was a shame, was that they nerfed it. Right. When 3.0 dropped at first, you could easily make 100 million an hour with 4 Type 9s, doing wing cargo missions. And I think you should be able to. Right. If you've got 4 players with the largest cargo hauler in the game, you should be able to make that kind of credits with it. And it's the first and only time in the game I've actually really enjoyed doing trade missions, because we would coordinate who's doing what, who's got what mission, where do I need to go to get whatever. And so it was kind of fun. But of course, then the nerf hammer comes down, and I don't know what they pay now, but certainly not the 100 million an hour, certainly not enough to get me to do it.
And it was the
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
It's a fair bit less.
We saw an activity in the game that actually made people play the game together. There are, like, okay, you could argue that the BGS stuff is minded towards groups, and there are other activities that you could say were multiplayer focused. But that was the first time I saw people actively searching for other players that they didn't know. Just random people say, hey guys, if we team up and play together, we can actually help each other and make more than we would than doing it on our own. And
when that was great, right? Like I saw people posting in the Reddit saying, hey, there's a Reddit for wings. I can't remember what it is, but it's it's a Reddit to go to find other players that if you don't have a group that you play with and everything, and people were actively doing that, then it gets nerfed, and I haven't seen anybody do it. right?
Exactly.
And then the other, this is more trade focused, and this is kind of a question for Obsidian, because I know he did a video on this. The new trade tools that were added in 3.0, as a non-trader, when I saw those, I definitely thought yawn, I could care less. And the third-party tools still seem like they're the better thing to use. For Obsidian or any of the others that actually use those tools, are they viable? Is it something that traders really use every day? Or was it something that just kind of got slapped in and it just went by the wayside like a lot of new things like that?
I don't think they were slapped in. I think they were quite well thought out in terms of what Frontier wanted for them. But for me, I don't find them particularly useful. But again, it goes back to how the players see the game and how Frontier see the game. I've seen more than once people question the fact modules is a good example. Something down there. Don't know if you hear all that banging. Modules is a good example. When you want to outfit a ship, you've got to travel all over the place. You can't see what's in stock where without using an external website. And the reason for that is because Frontier want you to travel to other stations. They want you to go from place to place to discover these things. And I think the reason they developed the trade tools the way they did is because they didn't want to give you too much information up front. They still want you to travel around, which, in my mind, defeats the purpose of the trade tools in the first place.
Agreed. To me, that's like the material trader thing, right? The material traders don't show up on your galaxy map unless you've actually been to them, right? That's another one of the things that I think is, it seems like it's along those lines.
Remind me, how many fucking stations and how many systems are in the bubble alone?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, several 100,000 at the least.
Yeah.
Perhaps
So have fun with that.
I think.
Hey. Anyway, so continuing on. So Down to Earth, I think you already answered the question, right? Is actually letting players earn, money and woof woof, yes. Whether or not is it a bad or good or whatever thing that allows. The question was whether or not you think it's a bad or good thing that the game allows a player to pop in a wing and earn money for just basically being there when the mission is collected. Is that a bad or good thing? Go, Astro.
I think I would agree that's not the best game design if you can just pop in at the end of a mission and then get the reward. I could see it. I mean, what I would have loved to see was because if you go, let's take the wing cargo missions again. If you go in and you calculate how much reward do you get per ton invested, right? So let's say I'm ferrying 1,000 ton of something, and I had it in a wing mission, and I take the same mission but a non-wing version where the amount is less, and I calculate what the reward is per ton I'm moving. Then you will see that the non-wing version actually pays about 50% more than the wing version. So you're losing about a third of your income per ton when running in wings. See, I don't get why they have pulled it back like that. That was actually right at launch when the wing mission was introduced, so it must be even lower now. I don't see why they did that, because if it was, let's say the payout was the same, and I tested this very thoroughly, and across a lot of missions it was pretty consistent within a few thousand credits, how much you would gain per ton in reward. So what normal one would be, let's say 30,000, and the wing version would be 20,000. I don't see why they have pulled the reward per ton back for wing missions, because if I wanted to do that solo on my own, why wouldn't I? I mean, it would basically just be a bigger version than the other ones.
Right.
And so back to the question that Yamiks asked, should a new player just be able to go in, join a wing, somebody hands him a mission, and boom, there we go, he has 5, 10, 50 million in his account right away.
In an instant, essentially.
In an instant. Yeah, I think it would be much better if the wing missions worked as if you would gain something depending on how much you contributed to it.
Or that you had to at
Again,
least
that's-
contribute, period, right? Like you at least have to do 1
Yeah.
ton, right? I mean, I think that would be okay because then
Yeah.
you bring in young, players in a Sidewinder, for example. And maybe I can only carry 4 tons of cargo for this, right? But at least I did something, because I think the argument, the way that I've thought about it, is the argument for the person that doesn't turn any cargo and earns money would be the guy who's running fighter escort, for example, which
Yeah.
doesn't really happen. But I think from a lore perspective, you could argue that, well, hey, that's why I didn't pick up any cargo, right? Because I was flying escort with these guys while they were doing the trading. Well, okay, that's
But how about
Right,
Even
that's-
from a game perspective, how about a counter interdictor? Right, that also works.
meaning
the
like if you're getting
counter-interdicts,
interdicted, I as a third party to
No,
the
no, no.
interdiction could
Before
stop it,
they
or-
can interdict you, they spot and just target them before they can target you. That's sort of a thing. But
yeah, okay, right.
so again, it's,
But I
I
think
understand
that-
why they again. Yeah, go.
Well, I was just going to say, I think where maybe if you made it, because I do like the idea of fighter escort, but again, it's just not really necessary, so nobody does it. And really, do I want to spend the time in my, my shitty jump range ship flying around doing a whole bunch of jumps with you guys, essentially doing nothing but then jumping, because the odds of me getting into combat are probably really slim. Well, that's really boring, right? Maybe if you did make that player, like I said, have to pick up at least a ton or something. I don't know. Like in some way that player had to interact with the mission. And I don't know that I know the answer to that other than, that they would have to do something, right? I go back to my example of me sitting in a station in a Sidewinder waiting for 30 minutes for my buddy to show up and bam, I get 5 million credits. Right? That's, I agree with it. Everybody with Down to Earth that's wrong. That's kind of a broken mechanic.
Yeah.
I mean, I used it because, hey, but it's not, I don't like that.
No.
Now that I think a bit,
No.
think about the balancing factors, I'd say they should have just, in a way, counted the time the person has spent with the wing, as a rather measure of whether or not the person deserves the reward. That would really, at this point, that in my mind would be the only way of balancing, this pop in, get reward immediately issue. So, anyways. That's
But again,
just me.
the problem is the whole way the wing mission reward is designed. The problem is the fact that you get paid equal amount everybody in the wing, because that means that have two negative effects. I see it. One, what we're talking about, that one new player can just come in and just get a shit ton of money very quickly. The second effect is what Yamiks mentioned earlier, that it means that the wings it's really only workable when you are a wing of 4 people. Whereas if instead you just had a pool of money, so say this mission would pay out 200 million, or I don't know, 50 million, and then the reward was divided amongst the people in the wing, and that could then be dependent on how much people contribute to the mission. Which makes sense with trade missions and mining missions, which makes it a little bit more difficult with combat missions, because it's then only the person who gets the last blow who. Yeah.
Or with combat, whoever, as long as you've got a shot on the enemy kind of thing, right? Like with bounty hunting, you could do it that way.
Yeah, then it would count towards your pool as well. Yeah, that could be done. I think that would be better. There's still some downsides to it with, like, what about the trader, the trader escort, the guy who's, like, running around protecting the trader? He wouldn't get paid at all, but, well, yeah, I don't know.
I was going to ask the same about with money missions. How can they balance the rewards there, especially if people want to go together into a hazardous extraction area or something like that, and they won't want someone to defend them. Not that if you're truly mining, you would go into that sort of area. You'd probably go out in the middle of nowhere and mine in some rings. But yeah, obviously I don't agree either that people should be paid instantly upon joining a wing. You're getting people in that have just started the game and they're getting 100 million credits or whatever. That's obviously not right, but
Yeah, because
I don't know that the way to fix that was to reduce the rewards rather than to do something else.
Even reduced rewards, you can still buff quite a bit of those new players. It's gonna take a lot of effort from the person that is buffing them, but still, yeah. But when it comes down, okay, personally, my take on the whole wing missions is just simply allow the mission giver, or the person that gives mission to the rest of his wing, decide how much each player is, rather picking up from the mission reward, whether or not it is by the amount the player has contributed to the overall goal, or is it just everyone gets equal amounts? And again, it's splitting the pot, and the person in charge has to decide that. For me, it was like thinking, okay, so let's say a big player wants to buff his friend. Now that I think about this game, and I decided to sort of think about in general how this game is being played, I'm thinking, okay, fuck it, you know what? Let him do that. Let him just buff his friend. So what? They're gonna have fun. And I've always valued just having fun over just getting the progression right or getting every little aspect right. Again, most of my fucking content is just about me, wanking on and whatnot else, or doing some silly stuff just because, well, that's what I find funny sometimes, or fun in general. There are different ways of playing a game, and again, you have to value the fun aspect of a game more higher than anything else, really. That's at least the way I would make a game. But then again, there is fun to be had in progression, and sure, skipping it can, in a part, ruin the whole experience, and that's true. But
well, when you say that about it being a game, Yamiks, one of the things that I've been a musician my whole life, and I always say people with music, like when I quit music professionally, it was because it had become work, right? And there's a reason we don't say that we work music, we play music. Just like we play games, we don't work games, right? And when it does become work, and so much of Elite can be, that's when the joy leaves it, and that's when people stop playing it. Right, so when all this is just work, there's not nearly as much incentive to do it as when it's fun and play, right?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, the same with the damage stations. How many damage stations are there now? Like 20 or more, is it?
Yeah.
Who the fuck
least.
even counts them anymore?
At least.
I quit counting. It's not
Okay,
worth it.
this is stupid enough already to actually start counting. Okay, let me just count it. So carry on.
Yeah, we're just saying.
Yamiks will be done in about half an hour.
Well, it's the concept of not getting rewarded for that sort of work. I think it could be interesting to get in there and, some people could call it a bit of a grind, carrying all that stuff to the stations, but you've got to give people a reason.
24, aside from, of course,
right.
your fixed
all these yellow
right,
icons,
Obsidian.
yeah.
So 25 in general.
Yeah. And am I right,
was,
Obsidian,
damaged.
that only like a few stations, yours and a
Oh,
couple others, actually have gotten repaired because people just don't
I think
care?
only 2 got repaired.
There is a
yeah.
spreadsheet. Well, I think the guys of various different people and groups are working on repairing some still. Let's have a look in Galnet. That should
Yeah,
tell
but
you.
okay, so 2 I know are repaired already. So 26
Two
have been
definitely are,
damaged. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Unannounced community goal that is just come repair stations. Yep. So that honestly, I never found that to be that interesting of a gameplay, but whatever. I guess some people
Well,
take.
Even if the gameplay itself is not necessarily so interesting, it could have been, couldn't they? That was
Everything
at least attractive to
coulda,
some
shoulda, woulda. Thanks, Captain Obvious. Right? South Park reference there. So yeah.
people. But that obvious that there's still 24 stations that are not yet repaired.
24, yeah, still
Yeah.
on
But-
And to
under
your point,
construction.
Galnet at the moment. And
If the stations just paid a lot more for the materials they need to be repaired, I would imagine that the materials at the station would be in very high demand. Then it would
Right.
actually be profitable for traders. Much in the same way that when a station has just been attacked, it spawns a ton of passenger missions you just can carry just outside the station. And whenever it happens, people flock to those stations because they can get high grade, grade 5
materials in general.
materials for the engineering. So people do that because there's a reward to do it. And if they just increase the prices of the commodities at the station that has been attacked, then you would see an increased amount of trade at those stations, and they would actually be repaired eventually.
yeah,
Because
just looking through Galnet,
Yeah.
there are a few more that are getting closer to being repaired.
okay,
But yeah, as you're saying.
Yeah. That's yeah.
And so I guess what you're trying to get at is city, and there's little incentive to do that, other than maybe, like I said, I wasn't surprised the community came together to fix yours and some of the very first ones, but there is very little incentive to do it, unless it happens to be, you know, your group's home station or something that got hit.
Right,
Yeah.
or something special in general.
Right, exactly,
The reason
exactly.
for it,
Yeah,
Why would you really, when you see like even 10 stations being, or fuck it, even 5 stations being damaged, why do you care about station number 625, right? Why would you care about it when there are, shit tons of other ones? That's the issue also in a way with the sandboxes in general. Why do you care about that particular, the radio tower or whatnot else?
When was the last time a station
Unless
was
you're
actually
100% completionist, right? Unless you're that, you shouldn't really, or no one really cares.
when was the last time stations were actually attacked? Like, I know there's a lot under repair right now, but when was the last time there was one?
I think last week or wait, no.
Was there one kind of
last
recently?
week,
Sure,
2-3 weeks ago. It's probably somebody in chat already.
Yeah, if somebody knows, and I'm just
knows
curious.
that, so, yeah.
I just don't remember the
But,
last time I saw one.
Here's a prediction for the future.
Ah.
My guess is that it's actually the first now. So at the beginning of next month, we're gonna see a sharp increase in Thargoid attacks because new patch.
Yeah,
Of course.
Probably.
yeah, I think that's a fair
I
prediction.
wouldn't-
Absolutely.
I mean, that's a simple thing, obviously.
They tried it a little bit.
I
with
was
the-
just waiting for extra predictions because at that point, that's just common knowledge.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
yeah.
but it's funny because they tried it in 2.4 where they said, we instead of just dumping all the content right on patch release, we're gonna make a gradual launch where things would be launched gradually. And then they kind of thought, no, and went back to just making dumping all the content right at patch launch. And that's why I think, they might have a plan for, which station is going to be attacked next, and then they're going to schedule them with 1 or 2 weeks in between, and that's going to happen for about a month and a half, and then they're going to run out of stations again, and then nothing's going to happen until next.
Oh, this is such a great gameplay or such an engaging storyline, right? I mean, if any of us really can predict what's going to happen, then someone's failed. In my mind, someone's failed.
Well, you're going to have to follow the path of the damaged stations. If you look where they've...
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah,
there is
yeah.
a predictable
Well, they
line, which
started
is nice. Which is nice, sure. But even so, in the general meta level of things, you think. For example, great one was with community goals. I predicted that they would be releasing those AX weapons essentially with community goals, and that's what happened. They even went overboard with it, and people got bored of it and actually pissed off because it was boring. And well, there we go. They kind of stopped it. Now Thargoid movements relatively are predictable, but the rate they are moving forward, that's even predictable. And yeah, well.
If you want to see a station being prepared quickly, then imagine a Thargoid attack on James Memorial. See, that thing would be repaired.
Of course, that would be repaired because
Yeah, it'd be
it's in
repaired
the
within a
middle
week.
of, it's really in the middle of bubbles, so yeah, it's easy relatively, I suppose.
What do you guys think would happen if Sol gets attacked, if the station's in there? Will they drop the permit?
That would be interesting.
Burn.
No, not only that. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, watching these streams rather, that Sol or solar system is under federal rank system. The game tells you to get fucked, essentially.
Actually, when I started playing, that was the very first grind that I did. That when I first, didn't really know what I was doing. It was like, well, hey, I want to go to Seoul, and then I realized, well, you have to grind for it. And it was like, okay, well, how do I do that? And it was the first thing I really did because it was the first thing I kind of wanted that I had to grind to earn, right? And I agree with
getting
Obsidian.
cutter, but.
Well, I agree with what Obsidian was getting at, which is if they did attack Soul, I think from a lore perspective, it would be interesting if they dropped the Soul permit in the, hey, the Federation's easing restrictions on the Soul systems that all commanders can come and fight. And maybe if you do come in, do something for the station or you do some mission, you can earn the Soul permit that way. Or, that would be something interesting, a way to do. Is that kind of what you were getting at, Obsidian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would that be enough of incentive to get people in there?
For some, I think it would
Just,
be.
just,
Yeah.
purely because the system itself.
Yeah. The cradle of humanity, right? It's home. It's. Actually, I remember
nice
when
they just simply deleted the rank system in as a whole, but that's just my opinion.
I know when.
I kind of think now that they regret the rank system, Yamiks, it's one of the reasons I think they never went for an alliance rank, and it's one of the reasons the new ships are not rank locked. But at the same time, they can't just go ahead and remove it because so many people have put so much time into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, at this point, for the betterment of the gameplay and a bit more straight-lined and polished stuff, I'd say I wouldn't mind it at all.
I'd be totally up for it as well. But
I would too, to be honest.
They could do what they did in the past. I recall, this is a long time ago, though. But I recall at some point that there was some event happening in the Empire, and then they decided to lower the rank on the Clipper, which was the last.
Yeah, that was Clipper, apparently.
Yes.
So you could suddenly get that at a lower rank. And they could do that more often. They have what Duval.
They did one thing for Federation. For the 3 federal piggies, they did the community goal.
Yeah, I was going to say, we had that community
goal. A couple of months ago.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep. And if you participated in the community goal, then they were unlocked for you. Is that what it was?
No, it was
the
for
Fed
everyone.
Ships. It was for everyone.
It was a global thing.
Yeah.
And I think things like that are good, and things like that to get, as we talked about last week with the the bust from engineering and trade profits. Things like that they do to get players back or into the game, I think are good, right? The question is it enough to interest enough players, right? I don't care about trade, I don't care about repairing a station, but if there was some interesting lore around Earth getting or Soul getting attacked and Earth, human stations there getting destroyed, I don't know that I would, but it would be more interesting than certainly the way it is now, right? There would be some reason for me to do it. If that makes sense.
So you're not too interested in the idea of new Thargoid scout ships in Chapter 2?
Oh, I was about to jump onto that. Let's go.
I'd say go Obsidian.
I don't know. They don't look that special to me personally.
It's basically just recolored or again, it's probably a recolored version of a Thargoid scout ship, and it has a little healing beam on it, presumably.
Yeah, I was about to say it's going to be healing.
Because healing beams.
Because they're not broken already.
Well, I think the question then is, are those? I thought the scouts were a good introduction in the sense that they are. Now there was a Thargoid that a lower ranked player with non-AX weapons could engage, right? Because obviously up until then you had to have have to have a pretty serious combat ship. So the question is, will the healing Thargoids be weaker and just be healing the other scouts, so that again you could bring in a lower ranked combat ship with you to deal with the healing Thargoid maybe. I think those kind of things are good, right? Other than that, personally, no, I'm not that interested. I remember right before 2.4 launched, I said a lot. I was hoping that the day we logged in when 2.4 launched, that literally like a third of every station in inhabited space had been destroyed, or like a huge swath of stations were wiped out or damaged or something, right? And so to me, it's been too small and too slow of a scale to make it really that interesting.
It's remember, this is a massive multiplayer online game, and
no, I get it.
Unfortunately for these games, story will have to be paced at that sort of
and that's absolutely right.
It's no escaping it, and I accept that.
Would it get you more interested though in the Thargoids if the rewards for fighting them were higher? 2 million for a Cyclops. So what if it was 20 million? Would you be more inclined to fight them?
Yes.
Or would you still not really have much interest?
No, I would. If it paid in that, if you could do Thargoid combat and make 40 to 50 million credits an hour doing it, yes, absolutely, I would do that. right? If I could, or even maybe even as low as 25 or 30 million an hour, right? Because those of us that do enjoy combat, now there's a highest paying way to do straight up combat. Yes, absolutely. I think that would be a good thing.
Yeah.
What about the rest of you? Feel the same or not really?
I would. I think generally
It needs to
Thargoid
be-
is. I think it's interesting. I think it can be fun doing from time to time, but it's very rare something I actually go and
Same here.
and search up because.
Well, and the last time I did, I just finished an Imperial Eagle to go see if I could solo a Cyclops in one, and then I spent 45 minutes jumping around trying to find a damn Cyclops, and then just quit because I got tired of looking for one.
Yeah, there is that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, they're
Right.
invading, and I can't even
I
find
wish
one.
it was more. Well, I just wish it was more integrated into the game. Like, it just kind of feels like a sideshow right now more than anything.
Exactly. There's also someone posted in my stream chat saying that it doesn't really feel like a war going on at the moment.
Yes.
It's just like
Yes. There's this thing that
Yeah,
just
but you want to-
this new type you can go fight, and that's about it.
He was going to say something about small Thargoid.
Yeah, so small Targoids, right. So first things first, to read a little excerpt from the announcement thingamajig. Targoids continue to be intergalactic menace. With the Alliance introducing a new ship, the Targoids intend to up their game too, introducing new scouts that will buff other scouts and increase their combat effectivity. Right, so that is essentially what is written in the the new announcement thingamajig. And also, sorry for bleaching your eyes right now, but oh, there you go. In any case, so yeah, right. So the Targoid scouts. Now, this was an interesting thing. First of all, first question I have is, why not start with them? The second question is, did you fail to properly put them in game, and then you just simply by accident launched them in beta? Because to recap, essentially what happened. So first things first, Targoids, the return starts, and Targoid, the typical big saucer flower thingamajig appears, and we try to kill it. In an instance that actually allows us to shoot at it. We can't. It has God mode on because Targoids are fucking filthy cheaters. So there you go. Right. Okay.
they're adapting.
Then community call is announced for AX weapon. Okay, finally we can actually damage them. Now people are finally getting their first kills, but it's pretty hard to do. I think it was possible to do solo at the time. But it was tremendously hard. In any case, well, there you go. All right, now then, moving on, the history continues. We get, AX weapon number 2, that is the multi-cannon, and finally we can properly kill them, and we get a new Targoid as well, and so it goes up until one of the updates, I think it was, and we in that update's beta, we immediately get spoiled with these Targoid scouts. Because apparently we need to test them instead of actually, just announcing them like usually we do. And that was, in my eyes, a fail. I understand that they failed to, kind of close off certain systems in beta that got leaked about Targoids a while back. But even so, this felt like just deliberate frontiers, not a single fuck given sort of a state of announcement. Just plop them in bait and let people do it, and then once it came to live, it was there. And yes, these Targoid scouts are easier to kill, and that makes me ask questions. Why introduce the God mode Targoid first and not these? Because, I mean, there might be a story reason, sure, but from gameplay perspective, it's just...
Well, I think they all. If you want to make
you
it more
don't
story,
start with the better thing and expect the lower thing to make sense. It's like, oh, we introduced a boss fight. now weeks later we introduced the henchmen.
Well, yeah, you would have thought it would all come out at
What?
once. I mean, if a military is going to attack another military, it's not they're going to say, no, let's hold back all of these troops and just send in that tank first. We'll wait a month and then we'll send in those. No, you would just blitz all at once, right? I mean, in that
Right?
standpoint,
Yeah,
I think from a
you'd
lore
think.
perspective, it should have all come at the
That-
same time.
I didn't get that. It was, again, I might ask developers if there are any developers in LaveCon about this stuff. Also, yes, I'm going, but anyways, it doesn't still make sense. And now just adding additional Targoid little thingamajig. I mean, I killed Cyclops solo with old AX weapons, and that was a thrill. I highly recommend anyone who hasn't done it, try it and force yourself to do it. It's one of the little challenges in this game that actually felt really super awesome to finally do. Again, I did it in my Python. It was really challenging to do, and I loved it once I killed my first, challenge for Cyclops, right? With old AX weapons. With now Guardian weapons, it's way too easy to do. But in any case, I enjoyed it. And yeah, pay was shit, and that's another aspect to talk about and whatnot, but whatever. Now, when they announced those little scouts, after being able to kill a Cyclops with AX weapons, I was like, okay, can I use plasma accelerators on them? Yes. Okay, why should I give a fuck anymore? Because they are just weak or slightly stronger normal AI weapon for ships with slightly different patterns. They're boring. I'll go back killing the Cyclops instead. How about that, huh? So, there we go. Anyways, Astro, I think you had something.
Oh, hold on, I'm overheating.
Yeah, that's it. That's a little tirade of yours truly done. Moving on.
No. I just very short comment on the Thargoid thing. So they said that they're going to be an intergalactic menace. Doesn't that suggest that they are in more than just our galaxy? I mean, wouldn't intergalaxy?
Oh, that's a good spot
would be
there, right?
Would be in more
right.
galaxies than just ours.
Yeah.
I think
I
they
think it's just
fucking
poorly-
failed at storytelling.
Right?
again.
It's just poorly worded.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that's
it's
what I
poorly
was
worded.
thinking.
Yeah.
I think it's just poorly worded, but it's just a fun little thing. That
No, absolutely. That's a good
Fail.
point to point out.
Or should it
So-
be intragalactic?
it should be intragalactic.
Intra, yeah.
because it's the whole
Yeah.
they're not
But it
intra.
is inter.
Well, the last thing,
now, so
if I can, the last thing that I wanted to throw in with Thargoids is, and I know I've seen a lot of players ask for this, is are we ever going to be able to do anything with them other than just shoot at them? Right? Will we ever be able to interact
Probably
with them in
not.
any
I
sort of...
doubt it.
I agree, but I think, in a way, I think that's maybe a shame that there's not some way to
Agreed.
ally with them, or deliver materials to them, or I don't know. I don't know what the play is, but
Even
actually,
they added the
if you
detail.
if you spawn or rather poop out meta alloy, they will collect, and that is the only other way I've seen. Targoids being interacted with aside from shooting at them. So
Right.
you might say that developers hinted at actually either we are gonna make friends or foes with them and what else, and I guess delivering their fossilized poo at them is a way to make friends now. Is
that what those are?
Is that the gameplay?
You
Is really
can
that the fucking gameplay?
You
really?
can also give them occupied escape pods.
that's right. You
kind of
can.
asshole.
You can.
I'm gonna save you, and I'm gonna give it to the alien. Anyway, should we move on to installations and settlements?
Sure.
Have fun with that. I aggressively don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm not sure that it's gonna be much different than what I've been doing for the last hour and 20 minutes.
We've been doing mega ships.
Yeah, I'm just out here abusing this mega ship for hackable data.
Yeah,
And-
exactly.
Oh right, you can
Yeah.
collect lots of data from just hacking them.
Do the mega ships
Yeah.
give grade? Do they give grade 5 data?
Yes.
Yeah, I've been getting modified embedded firmware,
Okay.
cracked industrial, all kinds of business off of this thing.
Cracked Industrial is a grade
Grade
3,
three.
by the way,
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, it's grade 3, but I get
still useful.
modified embedded almost as often as I get cracked industrial.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Because I did that the
So
one
it's-
time for the guide that I did on it, and I've never gone back to it because I think I was kind of doing it more from what could you make per credits, and the hour that I spent, I think I earned 11,000 credits. Right? I mean, something just absurdly low like that.
Yeah, you don't do it for credits.
Yeah, no, fair. I mean, yeah, fair enough now, right?
Do it for engineering data.
Sure.
But it's interesting that they are. I mean, they added Obsidian. You might be able to remember this. They added these installations a long time ago. I think it was something like 2.2 or
2.3 or 2.2, yeah.
I think it was 2.2
Yeah,
actually, yeah.
Actually,
yeah, I
now
think it
that I
was
think of it, it
2.2.
wasn't that
Okay,
long ago.
It's not important, but
Yeah,
it's,
yeah, exactly.
It feels like a long time ago that
Yes.
that was added into the game, and they said that we're just going to add them now, and they're going to be gameplay around them later, and then there's silence, nothing happened, and now they're just taking copy pasting what they've done with megaships and putting them over on the installations. Seems a little weird.
Easy content, my friend. That's how development in video games tend to happen when, development team doesn't have anything specific else to do. When they're not wanking off each other, I suppose, so... Yay!
They come in 21st of September 2016.
Wow, so a year and a half ago.
Wow.
2016, yeah, so that's
Year and a half ago.
2.2.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a year and a
That
half
was
ago.
2.2. Man, that was a
There you
while.
go.
God, it's 2.2 that long
And they-
ago. I feel old now.
The updated ones come in March 2017. So there was
Yeah.
the first ones, like the military ones, and then
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
bars and farms come a little bit later on. So yeah, long time. They've been there.
I would just
quite a
really,
while
I
now.
mean, there's just very little gameplay around them. I actually found some interesting gameplay around them, and they're fun to explore, but that's about it.
Yeah, they're cool looking.
It kind of goes back to what we were talking about the other week, wasn't it? I think we were anyway, having potentially smaller ships, ship-specific missions. I
Yeah.
think those structures would be great to have sidewinder type missions around there.
Yeah,
And the objective you
Absolutely.
need to achieve being right inside the base.
yeah, you'd have to take
Yeah,
a
I
ship
was-
that's
Of course,
small
it'd be
enough.
nice.
Yeah, some
I
ships
was
small enough to
exploring
fit
some,
inside.
I
Sorry,
was exploring.
sorry.
If you can actually fit inside them with an anaconda, I've done it. I was exploring some of them a couple of weeks back, and there was one of them that had this long tunnel you could fly into, and I managed to squeeze my anaconda in there. Problem was I didn't hit a dead end, so I couldn't get out. So I have to reverse out because the tunnel was too narrow to turn around.
To turn,
It was
yeah.
a bit of a pain.
Oh, the euphemisms I could use right now.
It's too tight!
But I would really have loved to see something
That's
else
what
than
he
just
said.
a copy paste of the mega ship mechanic, which for a very long time haven't really been used until people began pulling data out of them, especially the mega ships that occasionally are in anarchy system, so you don't get wounded. And then that one mega ship that was always in anarchy system that got removed. But they also mentioned settlements, that they were going to add new settlements, which I guess is kind of like Dad's Hope and those kind of things. Or how do you read that?
That's what I would think.
What part was that?
The new settlements,
settlements.
what will they be?
I'm guessing something like Dad's Hope.
Go theorycraft, yep.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing new settlements.
I don't see that either, or at least on...
Yeah, that's
on
what I was
the
just
changes.
wondering.
changes.
I don't
Yeah.
remember seeing it, but
Installation interactions, new
Yeah,
settlements. to
yeah, I
explore.
thought I'd seen that
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
really?
Because it seems like they're distinguishing between installations and settlements.
Yeah.
Like they're two different things.
new settlements to explore and combat to the. It's up at the top in the announcement.
Yeah. They're mentioning new settlements.
Ah, I see, okay.
They're mentioning new settlements
okay.
as a separate subject to
Yeah.
installation interactions.
Okay then.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
Aw.
interesting.
Awesome.
Essentially, lots of hmms.
Chin stroke initiated.
Yeah. Okay, so nobody have any idea what's going on with settlements, other than they maybe have just redesigned.
Maybe
Well,
they gave
would you
RNGesus a little bit more tools to work with.
Would you guys class the Thargoid bases as settlements?
They are
I don't
structures
know.
technically, but yeah,
I don't know what to call those really.
those are structures.
I was going to say structures. That's yeah.
They're
Now, it would be
officially
interesting
named as
if there was-
unknown structures.
It would certainly be
Or
interesting
Thargoid
if there was
structures.
more of that kind of stuff added to the game. Because I don't know about you guys, but I think that activating the Thargoid machine when it works, and things like that are exceptionally cool from a just kind of atmospheric, fun thing to do. So I think some stuff like that would be interesting, or maybe some gameplay around that, so that you activate the machine and you get something out of it. Right, I think that would be far more interesting, to me anyway.
Absolutely.
But you get something out of it. Personal narrative.
Well, yeah, of course.
That
hate
joke's
that
never
phrase.
gonna get old.
I hate that phrase so much.
I think we all do.
It's such a shit phrase, man. It's just amazing.
Oh, and Obsidian, did you go look up? Did somebody find the point in the stream we talked about last week when they talked about being respectful of our time? I remember we were talking about
Oh
that.
yeah,
last
yeah, yeah.
time.
I can play it right now on my
Right.
stream, just in case. If oh, screw it. No. Today we're talking about different things.
Yeah,
I'm
fair
gonna
enough, fair
play
enough.
it at the end of the stream.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna say thanks to everyone at the end and play that thing if everyone wants.
Would you
as
put the
well.
link?
So, but for
yeah,
now,
I'd love
it's
to do that too. Yeah.
Oh God, okay. Let me just find the link then. In that.
I mean,
case.
you can do it
But,
later. I mean, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail us.
No, you're talking. I'm just babbling on. Move on.
Okay.
I have time.
I have a small topic while Yamiks was looking for that. FSD boosters are gonna apparently be reintroduced.
Supposedly.
They're
Supposedly.
finally fixed. Imagine that. It only took them like what, couple of months?
Yeah, so the whole fixing thing, see, I don't think they were broken in the first place. I just think that they actually worked the way they intended it to, but they got such a big, so much negative posts around it that they decided to say, oh, it doesn't work as intended, we're going to remove it and redesign it and put it back in.
And what
Wait,
was
wait.
catch the
So,
moment.
so,
Okay,
so
so
that
for
would mean that they
clearance-
intentionally made something that could potentially strand you somewhere because it
Yes.
doesn't work.
Okay,
That's
so
the-
Okay, wait.
to explain someone that doesn't know what they are, what it is,
Yeah.
and whatnot else, just give
Oh,
a
yeah.
brief summary what they did.
It's okay. So they introduced some modules that came in a variety of sizes, I think from 1 up to 5, that goes in your internal compartments that boosts your frameshift drive range, your jump range, by a fixed amount. So a grade 5 one would, for instance, add an additional 10 light years to your jump range flat, just a flat bonus. The downside is that they would consume 125% additional fuel. So it's
That's
not
what it was.
25% over, it's 125% more fuel. So if you consumed 1 ton of fuel before, you would now consume 2.25 tons instead. So more than double the fuel consumption. And that was what people were on. Okay, if they might have been glitchy, they might have worked as intended, but I think one of the points was that was just way too much to pay to get 10 light years out of your ship. And I think that's the part that's going to be rebalanced. I wouldn't be surprised if we come back and we see them with a very, very different penalty to the fuel consumption.
Well, the problem with the FSD boosters originally was a lot more severe than that, because what was happening was that people would put on one of those boosters and their maximum jump range would drop from, say like I had a 60 light year Anaconda. Yeah, my maximum jump range would drop to below 30 light years because it was trying to use more fuel than the ship had in its entire tank for a maximum for a max range jump. So it was all kinds of broken.
Yeah.
Well,
so
and it's
literally the FSD booster just couldn't work.
Yeah.
No way for
Yeah.
it to work.
Yeah, it
And
just
they
didn't work.
released it.
Yeah, it's just another, to me, it's just another example of them clearly not playing their own game.
No, not
Right.
clearly
No.
playing the game. Not giving a fuck about balancing.
Well, I
That's
mean, yeah,
the important bit.
But more to the point.
People
Or do you
say the
guys
same
think
thing
it's
in
time
chat.
issues? Is it time issues?
I'd say
They're
so.
stretched.
The thing is, the development team is, of course, spread between multiple, of course, games and other things and so on and so forth. But realistically speaking, they have set schedule in which they need to develop certain features, and multicrew was one of the well, rather victims of not having enough time and having the need, or rather, well, being forced to push it out regardless in this of the state it was in. And the same thing happened probably here too with everything else as well. They just simply don't have time to organize anyone to, think up, does that make sense? Nope, fuck it, let's just push it out. That's how it feels to me.
I think it's a dinosaur issue.
I think that's part of it.
The Jurassic puke might be. But
at the same time, these aren't new issues.
Clarified dinosaur issue.
They're launching a new game pretty
Jurassic
soon
World
with Jurassic World. So it seems like they put resources from Elite over to developing Jurassic World, so it can be ready for their launch. Which means that some of the stuff they're putting out maybe could have used a test or two more than they already had.
Okay, so here's a quick comment. I usually don't pull comments from my stuff, but anyways, Baltzar says, Chief Programmer Ramsey says, it's fucking wrong! And yes, it's essentially that.
I mean, I'll say I don't know how much I think some of it comes down to Jurassic World, but not a lot of it, because again, are these new issues that we're talking about? Are these things that just? And I think the reason we're all sitting here, to some people think we're all just sitting here bitching, which is not what I think we're doing. But part of the reason is we've all been through this for so long now, right? These aren't issues that have just cropped up, or issues that that are just starting to bug us. There's issues that have bugged us forever, and for the longest time we've been a little dismissive about them. I mean, I remember when I started playing and people would bitch about the game, I would always say, oh well, look, they've got a long development cycle plan. There's a whole lot more coming. They're going to get to all this stuff. We're just getting to play it while they do it. And now here for me, 2.5 years later, I can't make that excuse anymore. Right? It's the same thing. And, one of the things I kind of posted to us was, for me personally, I'm at the point now where I don't necessarily want new features like wing mining missions, or a new ship's nice, but or these installations and stuff. I want them to go back and do what 3.0 was supposed to be, which was a repass through the core game and update the core game mechanics and fix the things that we don't yet have. I mean, I would much rather have the exploration changes than a new ship. Right, I would much rather have SRV multi-crew than I would.
Heresy!
I would have to agree.
I mean, would you guys agree with that?
At the end of the year, isn't it? That is coming at the end of the year, though.
Well,
isn't it,
I mean, it is, but things have been coming forever.
I was about to make the same comment.
Right? I mean, do you really think we'll get it by the end of the year?
They never really did promise it at any other point, though, until they announced beyond in the 3.0 in the 3.0 to 3.3 series of updates. I'll give them that they at least have it. This is what we're doing, and this is when you can expect it. So they at least have that
but
down.
The point I'm trying to make is, I guess for me, and you guys tell me if you agree or not, that's not what I certainly want from the game as a player, right? I don't care about a new little installation or a new little mining mission. I want the core stuff that we're doing now, that we're living with in a lot of silly half-ass, half-baked things, like exploration tools, like the fact that there's no SRV multi-crew, like we can't mix multi-crews and wings and things like that. Those are the features that I want them to add to the game, because those are the core things that we're already doing that would make the core game that much more fun to play, at least for me.
Instancing software.
No, I agree.
The net code and all that stuff. I mean,
exactly.
I absolutely
all that.
I absolutely despise the server stuff. I again, even making my stream PC connected with my normal PC is a fucking tremendous task of just a fuck-uppery, but it's
Well, I remember somebody.
I pity any network engineer that is in our chats. I truly do.
Yeah, I mean, go Obsidian. Obsidian was going to talk about core stuff.
No, I was going to say,
go.
Your point there about Frontier reworking or fixing the core gameplay, and they have said that's what Beyond is about. And
right.
You mentioned things such as the SRV and other things, SRV in wings or SRV in multi-crew.
Sure.
And if you look at what they're doing, it seems to me at least that the things they're fixing or the things they're updating are in order of release. So mining and exploration first, because they were the first things in the game. Maybe the other things will come later. Not sitting here defending them,
No,
But
no, yeah.
I'm just thinking there might be a reason that they're doing it in that specific order.
That actually makes sense.
Yeah, that could be.
So take the oldest thing first and then work your way up.
Yeah,
Well,
get
yeah,
them going
kind of,
closer to what they originally intended those things to be. I mean, like I
Yeah.
said early on, I was looking at the design notes for what they wanted. It's worth having a look if you've never looked at it. On the design notes for mining and exploration, and the original ideas are very different to what we got now. But it looks, judging on the little bits that they have said about Chapter 4, that they're getting a bit closer to what their original designs were.
Yeah, that's interesting, actually.
So yeah,
It only took them what 5 years, or will
Yeah.
take them 5 years.
It took a while.
They keep adding new stuff.
Right.
But then, okay, so
Well, it's the same iterative style that they've been doing since the beginning. That's how it feels to me. I mean, granted, I think the pace could be picked up quite a bit, but
Just
I mean,
throw money at
that's-
it,
yeah.
basically. Just like with any sort of a thing, if it doesn't work, just throw money at it.
do you guys think that, I mean, reworking the core part of the game is, I mean, it's not something you do, I mean, you want to make sure you get it right. So, because someone just posted in my chat asking them why add new wing missions then? Because do you think that the missions, or the two small content releases we're getting here in Q2 and Q3, that they're going to be like something, just going to add something that's easy for them to do, so they're going to keep people entertained for long enough so they can rework the core game? Basically, is this just like a...
I wouldn't say they
Look-
are
look over
working
here
on
on
more
Fix the
gameplay. They're
Broken
working
Bridge.
on new features rather than that. So yeah,
Well, I think it's interesting that the Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 updates are the smaller ones, and the time period they're coming out in, i.e. they're coming out right now, coincides with the release of Jurassic World. Yeah, they goes back to, I think it was who, I can't remember which one of you was saying it, but was it Astro?
Mhm.
Dino issue, yeah. All the workers, or a good chunk of the workers or the developers are on that game. Which, conveniently enough, they're releasing smaller patches for Elite during this same time period.
That might be an explanation as well, yeah.
so wait for
Well, see,
E3 for them to release the
Well,
piece
actually-
of garbage that it is, probably, or maybe not. Who knows?
Oh, but then
one's
that
really
raises
played
the
it properly.
question.
Actually, looks pretty good, Yamiks, I think.
Yeah, fine. It's for me. It's a Planet Coaster. Again, I'm gonna be cynical about it because who would I be without that, right? But yeah, we'll see.
Oh, but that
we'll
raises
see.
the question: is how many developers does it take to maintain, say, like Planet Coaster and Jurassic World? After they've gone live, and the whatever bugs they have.
Jurassic World's gonna be a licensed product, so probably as long as money trickles in and they are hired to do the thing, it will be. Once the money stops, well, screw that. That's how licensed products work, ladies and gentlemen. That's how licensed products do. So yeah, fun. Oh, actually, there was one thing that I didn't talk about the whole new update, or at least notes that they released. I don't know. Let's see. They're right. There we go. So, update note about Technology Broker. That was an interesting little piece that I didn't quite expect to see. So, first note is Technology Brokers will allow commanders to unlock large versions of the existing Guardian tech weapons. All right, fair enough. That is pretty much obvious. And the second note is these tech brokers will issue blueprint requests to collect Guardian data as well as materials on them. Once delivered, will unlock the certain Guardian modules of weapons. The wording on the other page was a bit different. Let me read that. So, tech broker, right? So there we go. Tech brokers will allow commanders to unlock large weapons, and also my browser crashed, but never mind. There we go. Unlock large weapon versions of existing Guardian tech weapons. That's pretty much copy pasted. And tech brokers will issue blueprints to collect. Oh wait, no, that's copied too. There's one more line, right? So Guardian modules of weapons for purchase. Will you turn your weapons to targets. Okay, never mind. And in that case, I was wrong on the wording there. But it felt like they are about to just give sort of missions from tech brokers rather than just offer blueprints. But I guess I was wrong.
I understood that, like, the request for
Yeah.
blueprints is just being that, hey, we want these things in order to unlock it.
Yeah,
that was how I
basically
read it,
they're
at
gonna
least.
do the same thing as previously. Damn it! Okay, and here I was thinking, oh, story
That's something
missions
different,
with personal narrative. Nope. Then I realized, nope, that's not what they're talking about.
Well, if they're going to go the same way, I just hope they reduce their requirements. No 10 blueprints or anything like that. One's enough. 1 or 2.
Yeah, agreed.
I highly
It's-
doubt it.
I mean, it's dumb you have to do that thing 120 times to do. I mean, I don't know how many times you actually need it,
RNGs
but,
is gonna tell you to get fucked.
but there's no
It's just
no RNGs in getting the blueprints. It's you've done it once, now just go and do this a
Yeah.
trillion times
Yeah.
until you're done.
Yeah, do it
No
56
RNGs in
times.
this. You know when and where all the Guardian whatever skimmer thingies will spawn. You know exactly what to do. There's nothing that moves around, or it's the exact same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
I mean, you could potentially, if you just did a recorded keyboard macro of all your inputs, and you could manage to get your SRV in the exact same location every single time, you could just press that key, and it will just run through it, kill all this everything for you, and that would be it. Anyway, should we have about 10 minutes left, I think, if we're gonna try to stick with the
Yeah.
2 hour thing. Do we want to talk about
Right, so
the,
2 hours, I think, for a stream would be a normal thing. 'Cause,
I think so.
Again, yeah, 10 more minutes
works.
left for the stream, so I don't know.
we
Let's see
have
what we could go for. Any particular topics you guys wanted
Yes.
to?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, go
Okay.
down.
If you
Okay.
look in chat, what happened to the beta?
Yes.
Beta. Yes.
Yeah. Why is there no beta for this update?
There's
The
nothing to
official-
test. There's
the
nothing
official-
to test.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think at least
The
with
official
this
line is
one,
fine.
yeah, I think with this one that there's just not enough content to test. So, why
I
bother?
mean, I trust developers to create and release ships properly, which they have done in the past, which is again at
Except
least one
for-
thing that is
Wait a minute,
nice.
except for the Chieftain, where the interdiction still doesn't line up on the Chieftain.
Yeah, that one's still that's annoying.
Right? It's been
Okay.
there. It's been there since the first beta. Like I personally have opened like 5 or 6 reports of it, and it's constantly, we're looking into that. We'll see if we can fix it. And here we are.
They're always looking into
Well, of
things.
course they
Exigeous.
are. Of
They're
course they are.
always looking into things.
No, they're always wanting to look into things.
Oh, right.
Right,
That
right.
was the phrase.
Exactly.
Right,
They
you're
want
right.
to look into
Good.
things.
Good intentions, yeah.
Yeah, right.
But it might just be that because it's a small content update patch, I don't think it's necessary to actually do a beta test. I mean, I would expect that the Q4 update is going to have a beta because there's so many new completely new game mechanics that needs to be tested.
Reworking the game essentially. The chapter 4
Yeah.
update is, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So much content update. They cannot possibly get away without doing a beta.
No,
No way.
I don't
I mean-
think so either.
I think in the past they've unlocked a few modules without beta tests, haven't they? Usually, especially like the Guardian not the Guardian weapons, but the anti-Thargoid weapons.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
They just
did
switched them on one day, didn't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah, they did.
No, that was basically again that was a community goal unlock. So I wouldn't quite
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
it
Well,
was
yeah,
a-
but-
They
We
weren't,
didn't
but they weren't
test them.
beta tests.
Right,
That's
right.
what I'm saying.
I suppose, yeah.
Well, and then look at
Well,
that.
see, but that brings up why isn't there a closed insider beta
Yes.
group to test out some of this stuff?
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
To make sure things like the Guardian FSD boosters and that kind of thing aren't borked when they first get into the game.
Absolutely.
Because it was a universal problem, with those. Like everybody had the exact same issue. So
I mean,
there's no
this
way
time-
that it got tested.
Yeah, this time I can't even defend QA team. It was also their fault of just not testing it on all the ships properly. So not
Well, I
even
mean,
they can be excused
think
for
we-
fucking up.
I think we all seem to agree, or at least I think this, you guys tell me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me that certainly Frontier does not play the game like we play it, right? I don't believe there's anybody that
They're
works
developers,
there
of course they don't.
Well, and that's kind of fair, but still, because they don't play the game like we do, and therefore they're not testing it and living with these issues like we do, the fact that there's not some sort of insider beta group that is constantly, for every build, always giving them feedback. I mean, like when I finally realized that doesn't exist, I was pretty stunned, right? I can't see how that doesn't exist.
But if they're afraid stuff is going to be leaked too early, I mean,
NDAs solve that.
Yeah, exactly. That's an NDA. You could then argue whether you, as a content creator, wanted to sign an NDA. But
right,
that's
exactly.
A whole other
it is.
That's a live stream on its own.
Sure. But if they have that, I think if they put together a group of 10, 20, however many, pretty small, right, but of players of all different styles, right, that, again, those of us that really live with the game and live with these implications, like they don't, I just, again, I'm stunned that they don't have that.
But you know, I'm channeling my inner DJ here. But they're a small company, you know. They're self-employed.
They're a $500 million. No, they're a $500 million company. They're not a small company.
At this point, this sort of argument doesn't work. They are big enough,
exactly,
and they are at least relatively competent enough or capable of doing such things. And the reason why they are not doing things, well, yeah. No, don't admit that incompetence or unwillingness. I don't know which one, but well, there you go. It's just something that you wouldn't really normally do, but well, there we go, I guess.
At least I hope that the beta is going to return for the Q4 update. It's fair enough if the smaller update, they're just going to release those and hope for the best. But I hope.
Talking of the Q4 update, there, I've got someone here in chat just wonders what we're most interested in seeing out of that particular update.
Water 4?
Talk about that for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, deep core mining.
I'm looking forward to the exploration update on that one.
Same
Big
here.
time.
Let's see. I'm looking forward to how they will fuck up the guild system. Because at this point, again, I feel they will fuck up the guild system. All I want in my mind is just a pure, simple, working guild system like in any other game. But no, they have to tack on the fucking fleet carriers or what the fuck else that abortion will be. And again, you have to balance around it or with it, and it's just creates more problems than solves or creates more joy in my mind. So I'm being negative, yes, but I was thinking, oh, a guild system, okay, that's nice. Oh no, they're implementing the fucking fleet carrier so deeply too. Oh fuck me, this is gonna be a disaster.
What about you, SJ?
Of course, fleet carriers and the whole guild system is going to be interesting, but I'm looking forward to mining getting a rework, and especially the deep core mining, because I'm having a hard time seeing how the mechanic around that's going to work. That you're going to be able to, like, it seems from the pictures at least, that you're going to be able to completely blow up asteroids and remove them.
And that'd be nice. See,
that would be awesome. Are you kidding?
In No Man's Sky, you can do that, and I enjoy that part of the gameplay even a little bit. So, yeah.
Yeah, destructible asteroids would be fantastic, wouldn't they?
Yeah, it'll probably be based on instance too, if any. Like I said, it's not persistent.
Everything would.
One thing I would love to see was an alternative to Limp, something like a tractor beam or something like that, so you could like scoop in asteroids without having to.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Having to actually fly over or have limpets with you. But anyway, I'm usually looking forward to at least the fleet carriers squadron. The whole squadron thing is okay. It looks like it's going to be a very, very basic guild clan system, so I don't think that's going to be too much exciting stuff there. But the fleet carriers is going to be interesting, and the mining update.
I'd like to see that the fleet carrier can be used in various areas of the gameplay, deploying it near ring systems for mining and taking it out. You know, what would the jump range in it be? Should it have regular jump range, or should it be able to jump 2,000-3,000 light years in a go? Bear in mind
don't
that
It's gonna be
possible-
grind just to make it move. Remember
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
folks.
How long?
If it's
how far would
anything-
it be able to jump? If it
Well, if
takes
it's
a week
anything
to
like the
refill it-
Gnosis, it should be like 550 light years or something like that. If it's like the Gnosis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think it should be something longer.
Imagine
than
the mad, insane people going for Beagle Point with that. Oh my god.
We've already talked about it in the Zencast Discord.
Oh,
Trying to be the
juice.
first people to get one out there.
Stupid fucks.
Yeah,
Why?
somebody's gonna do it.
Why
yeah.
not? That's the proper
They're
question.
not even trying to waste your time. Now you're doing it yourself. Why?
I have made a stream career out of going to Beagle Point for absolutely no freaking reason. So why not? Let's take a carrier out there next.
I think someone was
Okay.
suggesting you to. Have you done it in a Sidewinder?
Not yet, no.
Yes.
You should do
Um,
it not in the Sidewinder, but in the worst jump range ship in the game.
I took a
Federal-
Fertilance out to Beagle Point.
Federal gunship is the worst
Well, is it
the
jumping
worst?
ship.
All
in
right,
the
I
game.
can do that. That's no problem.
I wonder what the shortest jump
So-
range you'd have to get there is.
Right,
I mean,
about
some-
20-ish.
Okay, you can do it with 20.
Shortest. I
Right
think
about
we should
20.
be able to do it with like
But with
50.
FSD boosters, 20 is going to be a piece of cake to get in any ship. If you fit it for range.
I mean,
Oh wait,
if
no,
you,
it's pretty far. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're at 15 light years, see, the thing is you have to be able to get at least 35 or so using synthesis. Otherwise, you won't make it there, and even that takes some very careful planning.
Right. Now with the new planner, yeah, you don't really need to plan too much. Just plop and go.
Not entirely true. When I took my, I was running into a very unique issue where when I took the Chieftain out there, it plotted the last route no problem. But then when I came back with my canopyless Conda that had 50% more range, it wouldn't plot that last route. I actually had to finagle that one. It took me a couple hours to work out and get it to where it would actually plot. So I'm not sure what the deal was there, but it was failing for no reason.
Well, it's not perfect, but I don't know. Still, I kind of like it. Still, well, whatever. All right. Well, it's been 2 hours already, so well, there's not much to talk about. I mean, the update will be basically just again content update. It's gonna be 2 ships, some weapons that grind all day, grind your fucking mind away.
Does anybody else think it's funny that didn't they say a few weeks ago or whatever that the update was coming before we expected, and now it's coming 2 days before
Yeah.
the end of the quarter?
Yes, I thought about that as well.
It's
which is
so
hysterical.
unexpected. I can't believe
Right.
it.
Yeah, it's just I don't get it right.
Right.
Yeah.
Obsidian.
Yeah, we're gonna do a stream next week. Do you think?
Well, next week I'm in Lave, so unless you guys will organize things, I might be able to jump in from a Scorpius's end, but I promise to do that on Plater's end as well.
Okay.
So
What about you other guys?
I mean, I'm
Again,
available certainly. Yeah, I mean,
whoever's
Honestly,
organizing,
I'm
you
here.
organize it.
Yeah, and then there's the 24 Platers 24-hour stream starting on Saturday as well.
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
We could consider, I mean, if we wanted to do something like this, but move it to Plato's live stream to help him out with that.
I'd be up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to see
Oh,
how
we're-
he feels about
you're
that.
Yeah,
gonna
let's-
decide
yeah,
it.
we
let's
That's-
see
have to ask
what-
Plater,
That's
obviously.
for something
Obviously.
We'll
offline,
work something
I
out and
suppose.
let everyone know.
Yeah, that will be more of this.
We'll let you all know.
And as always, remember to
There'll probably
post
be
topics
something.
on whatever stream you're watching and
Of course, yeah,
Mm.
right. Please,
Yeah.
please do share your ideas as to what we could discuss and other things and so on and so forth. I'll try to organize as many as I can and other things, but well, can't promise everything, of course, like the next week. But
Sure.
there you go. Right. So, for the ending thing, right? So, just to end it on some sort of a, I don't know, good note or bad note, I don't know, but. From 1 to 10, how would you rate the, well, at least the information we got on the update. Let's start with I don't know, the Exigeous.
Oh,
Let's go with you.
I knew
1
you
to
were going
10.
to pick me first. You mean in terms of like it being what I
How
want
would you
in the
rate
update,
the
or
information we got about 2.1?
3.1?
So not the content, just information.
Yeah, 3.1. How would you rate the information we got?
Oh man, on a 1 to 10, I think I would rate it. I don't know, on the low side, 3 or 4, right? Because it's like
Okay.
it's to me, it's like all their
Astro,
updates,
next.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably at a five, maybe 6 if we're stretching it a bit, but I
Maybe,
mean,
yeah.
Parxosym?
5-ish at the most. 6 if you really want to stretch it. But
Okay, and Obsidian?
Yeah, about 5, I'd say, maybe a 4.
And for me,
But then-
I'll cop out and say it's a dead horse already. So there you go.
Yeah, I think also it's worth mentioning that we all knew it was going to be a small update to start with.
Of
Yeah,
course.
it's,
Yeah, they
Sure.
said it, and I suppose, yeah, we can't expect too many things.
but
We
again,
can
I-
always, kind of hope and always force them to make something good, but there's always that they're gonna fuck up, and yeah, take broker, because personal narrative needs to continue, and we need to grind all day. But yeah. Anyways, well, yeah. As for the last piece for today, I suppose so. First of all, today's stream has been joined by Commander Parxosym, or just Parxosym. There you go. Then there's Exigeous, Down to Earth Astronomy, and Obsidian Ant, as well as yours truly, the great and powerful Yamiks. Yes, 'cause I'm special like that, indeed.
Of course.
So,
you
anyways,
are.
do let us know
Very
what you think
special,
about
yeah.
the streams and other things. Again, as we said, we want to try and make it more of a weekly thing, or at least some of us do, and well, we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, before we
Other than
drop
that-
off, I'm going to hang around on my stream for a few minutes.
Yeah. Same on
Of
my
course,
stream.
Let everyone
Yeah.
knows. Don't disappear just yet. I'm hanging around for a few more minutes.
yeah.
We're gonna
yeah,
say,
I'll keep
all
streaming
other
for a little while
things.
too.
Same for all the others in
So
person.
anyways,
Yeah.
big thanks to basically all the previously mentioned people. You can find them on YouTube's and all that stuff. All the information is easy to find, I suppose. So again,
And
Parxosym,
on Twitch.
Exigeous, Down to Earth Astronomy, and Obsidian Ant, as well as yours truly, Yamiks. I guess that'd be it. So thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
And let's go do
Absolutely.
our own things then.
Yeah.
Okay,
See you
see you
guys.
next-
Thanks, guys.
Thank
See you guys next week.
Bye.
All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna not be on too long here. I'm the Joe Rogan of Elite. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I guess I'm enough of a Joe Rogan fan. I can call that a good thing. I'll end with the question he asked. Yamik asked us. What about you guys? What do you feel about the update that's coming in? Do you think it's do you think their communication has been good about it? Do you think it's good, bad? Do you think it's what you guys want? Where are you guys? And what, you can either answer here or, post, just comments later. But let us know what, what content you guys want us to discuss, right? And Gibber, yes, I absolutely have some PvP guides coming. I mentioned this on the last stream. I've still been struggling with some health issues, which is why I haven't been posting a whole lot lately, but I'm hopefully through those here soon, and we'll be back cranking out content fast. Let's see. Yeah, the new ships, I'm kind of, when I saw the Challenger, I'll admit I was kind of meh a little bit, right? But at the same time, new ships are always fun. I just kind of want what I keep harping on. I want them to go back and finish out, the content that we've had, finish out the features that have been in the game for so long that haven't been complete, right? I want SRV multi-crew. I want to be able to mix wings and multi-crew. I mean, those are some of the things that are pretty basic features that I think would add a lot to the game, because there's so many times I've wanted to use those two things and couldn't, and had to tell someone no, that I think that's a really big shame, right? So if there aren't any other burning comments or questions, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Like normal, I'll leave kind of the chat going here for just a little bit and answer some questions in chat. But other than that, I hope to see you guys on Tuesday night and to crank out some new content this weekend. So everybody take care. Thanks for stopping in.